Welcome back. All right, so Shadow just stays here. I have cat trees in the background, and because people like to see the cats, Shadow's there. I try. I do. I try. I encourage. I put cats on top of the cat tree. Just leave. One thing that's changed over the years, they now have a nice big house. And there's lots of cat trees in the house, so they just find another cat tree. I want to talk about Love Island. Yep, we're here again. It's about a week from the end of Love Island, and I think this has been the best season I've seen. Now, apparently, the ratings have been high. You wouldn't know that from view counts on the channel, but I digress. Uh, the reality is that I think this cast, it feels like they're close. It feels like every elimination's more dramatic and emotional than it was in past seasons. I just don't remember there being this much crying and upheaval over one person leaving the villa. Understanding that it's a game show, and people are going to leave. But this year it just feels like the bonds are closer. It's a little more dramatic, and I think the timing's better too for this series. So I wanted to go over the couples, and what's interesting is they've stayed largely the same. The last time I did a video on this, I talked about the amount of carnage that took place from Casa. The young ladies that came back from Casa, I didn't think were treated very well by the men who brought them back. There were various times where I was like, "What is going on here?" The one thing that drives me nuts is there have been certain instances where one of the young ladies on the show is just beside herself and she's crying and she's really upset, and the guys just stand there like this, looking at her. She's crying again. Somebody want to go over and give her a hug? My God, Kaylor went through hell. This show has absolutely raked Kaylor over the coals, and it just keeps happening. And just all the guys just kind of, hey, Kaylor's crying again. And then once the guys come back that are Villa guys, they were fine. Like especially Kendall. Kendall's my favorite. Of the guys on the show, he's my favorite. Nicole's my favorite. Of the ladies, I hope they win the money. And they're gonna do the vote. The final vote is who wins the money. I hope it's Kendall and Nicole because they've been the most consistent couple. Kendall in Casa Amor, he was encouraging the guys to mess around and do stuff, but he didn't do anything himself. So he was the one that was just sort of living vicariously through others, I guess. But he has done a good job of covering his tracks, and I think that Kendall has shown real contrition for the things he did, which sometimes on these shows guys don't necessarily do. The ladies don't always do it either. Sometimes it's just, yeah, that's what I did, and if you don't like it, well, screw you. All right, well, we're done. But Kendall and Nicole, I think, are going to win. Now, Aaron and Kaylor were not in the top four vote that they had last week. I think Aaron and Kaylor have almost no chance of winning the money, even though they're the only couple that are official boyfriend and girlfriend. Yvonne and I watched this, and it's bizarre to us. I never asked Yvonne to be my girlfriend. It never happened. I had a 15-year relationship with somebody. I never asked her to be my girlfriend either. It never happened. I used to be very much, I'm going to ask this girl to be my girlfriend. But if it's natural and if it just works, you don't have to ask. You're just together. And so I no longer think that that's as big a deal. But it is this big deal, and they definitely got all excited that Aaron and Kaylor are officially a couple. Leah and Miguel, I don't know if these two have a chance outside. Now, Aaron and Kaylor, I don't know if they have a chance in the real world either because Aaron's in the UK and Kaylor's in the US. Aaron was talking about, coming to the US. Now, I could move to the US. On the episode I watched last night, Kaylor's like, well, I could come to the UK. So, yeah, that's long distance just doesn't work. And if you're young and really attractive, it really doesn't work. And so, in the case of Aaron and Kaylor, I don't know that it has much chance because now they're well known. Aaron's known to people who watch Traders and to people that watch Love Island. We'll see where he shows up next. I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron ends up on Survivor or one of the many iterations of Big Brother. I think he could do it. I do. I think he could do it. Then you've got Leah and Miguel, who I don't think are winning the money. They're an odd couple. And it's just odd in the way that I don't know if it's going to work. Keeping in mind that the way they edit the show, they can absolutely make it look like one couple is all kumbaya and everything's fantastic when it's not, and vice versa. Serena and Cordell, I think they got a shot. I think Cordell over the summer has changed enough that I think this couple can work, and Serena's changed enough. I think this couple can work. Initially, it was awkward. Initially, it was kind of an odd pairing, but it worked. And when Dea was outed, and she was the one that Cordell brought back from Casa, the Dea was apparently outed that she had a thing for his brother, Odell Beckham Jr., of NFL fame. And so the idea would be that she'd be looking to date Cordell because then she'd have an in with OBJ. And Cordell, when he said, I've been going through this my whole life, I have no doubt that he has. I am sure that is a major frustration for him. I can't imagine how many times it may be that a young lady might show him some interest knowing who his brother is. So Serena doesn't care, and I think that's great. And so I honestly wish them the best. I think they've got a shot at winning. I think of the couples that are still left, I think Serena and Cordell, Kendall and Nicole are the most likely to win the money. But Janae and Kenny are just fantastic. As couples go, I think they're fantastic. I think Kenny made a mistake coming back with somebody from Casa and realized it before he even sat down with the lady he brought back from Casa Amor. And right away was just, oh my gosh, Janae's really upset. I didn't expect that. And I get it. I get it because he's probably over in Casa and thinking, well, I mean, there's all these beautiful ladies here. There's probably some good looking dudes over there. I can't assume that Janae's still going to be interested in me. So I'll bring Catherine back. And then I felt bad for Catherine because she said maybe 3 words the rest of the show before nobody picked her and she left. And then you got Rob and Cassie. Rob is not one that I'm a huge fan of. So Rob, the drama with Leah being as it is, and then they keep hinting that Rob and Leah are going to get back together. I think everybody wants them together except Rob and Leah. But Cassie comes in, and I kind of called it because Andrea, Latina girl, good looking. He clearly had a big connection with her. And then Daniela, Latina girl, clearly liked her too. And then suddenly he didn't. And then Cassie comes in, Latina girl, and Cassie steals Rob, so Daniela goes home. Yeah, although Daniela was going home either way, because unless Cassie had picked Daniela, which would have been absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to lie, it would have been great if she'd picked another woman to pair up with, because the show has famously downplayed that. There's a former cast member that I follow that she's bi, and she's admitted, you know what, there are girls on the show I wouldn't have minded pairing up with, but the show really discourages that and really doesn't want that. They want it to be boys and girls paired up. They don't want it to get messy like that. So I think it'd be great if it happened, just for the chaos that it would create, because then you got extra guys going, and then you'd have production going, do we send in more men or women now? What do we do? Because we got 2 women together. So how does this work? But at any rate, yeah, Rob and Cassie have no chance of winning the money, but for the next week they get to sit and hang out and enjoy each other and whatever. They haven't been making out and stuff. I don't think they're going to be honest, but I think for Cassie, she was kind of hosed by the way the scheduling works. Why send somebody in when there's like 10 days left in the show? What exactly is going to happen? How does that benefit her at all? And I don't see how it benefits her in the slightest. There's no way they're going to generate public support. Rob even told her in the last episode I watched that, yeah, no, I'm always in the bottom. Yeah, people don't like me. You're right, Rob. People don't, and it's because of how he's generally treated the ladies in the villa. You got to remember, a vast majority of the people watching this show are women. So I sometimes think guys don't consider that as much as they should. And there's gameplay to this. I always wonder, like, when people are like, well, I don't know, maybe I'll switch up my girlfriend. Why? You're right near the end. Stick it out with this person. Make that connection work, and then you might win money. And yeah, if it doesn't work when the show's done, okay, but you win the money. And I don't think people think about the money enough. The new host, Ariana Madix, huge difference with Ariana as the host. Sarah Hyland was the host last year, and I never believed for a second that Sarah Hyland watched the show. I didn't believe that she actually really cared about people on the show. Ariana does. You can tell when she's in there, she's a fan. You can see her being emotional and crying during certain periods of time where they're upset. She really does just fit right in, and I think she's a much better host. She's much better suited to being a host of the show, I think, than Sarah was. And so when Sarah Hyland, when they said that she wouldn't be coming back this year to be the host, I was so happy. And when they said Ariana Madix, I was like, you know what, that works, because she has been the guest host on here before, and it worked absolutely really really well. So I'm a big fan of changing up the host. I think it's just made the show far more watchable, and the fact it starts earlier in the summer, so it's going to be done next week. Good, good. It should be done early in the summer. It's a summer show. It shouldn't go right into like near the end of August. So getting it done earlier. Apparently, it's lined up now with the UK one, which throws me off because anytime I'm looking up something Love Island related on Google, it'll show me this couple's broken up, and I'm like, what couple? Oh, that's the UK version. Okay, got to put Love Island USA. Got it right. So, yeah, I think the earlier starts helped. I do have some ideas. My wife and I have discussed ideas that we think would make the show more interesting. So you have all this Casa Amor, right? You bring in these people to tempt the Islanders. Why not have a companion series? So when you have Casa Amor, you could have, when it's done, the people that don't get picked by the people in the villa then get together in Casa Amor, and maybe they're fighting it out for a smaller cash prize. Maybe, just so that it's not these people are in 2 episodes and then they're gone, right? These people don't ever get a chance to really pair up, and there's people we never even hear from. There are, and now that happens with Love Is Blind a lot. Definitely happens with Love Is Blind often, where you can tell people that just don't exist in the show. They never speak. They're just there, and they're kind of yep. There was one in this season's Love Is Blind, the American version, which he was an older guy, and I don't remember seeing him talking to anybody in the pods. He's just there, just to give advice. I don't remember them showing him in the pods at all. I think that there's an opportunity for these shows to produce a little more content. And I know there's a lot of content out there right now in this internet sphere, but I think they could do it without increasing the budget a lot and just show a little bit of something different. So I think a second chance opportunity would be good too. So again, with the Casa Amor thing. So let's say Daniela gets voted out here. She has a chance to go to Casa. She has a chance to go back to Casa and perhaps pair up with somebody there. Maybe you take the people that are, I don't want to say the word rejects, so I won't, but that's the kind of idea. People that didn't get paired up here, and instead of flying them home, maybe you put them up in a hotel, and then this last week, you have a Casa Amor series where they all have a chance to meet up and meet people and potentially find a boyfriend slash girlfriend and just have fun with it. And maybe the winner on there gets $10,000, right? So you're not destroying your budget, but it's something different. It's something different. Absolutely, I think that could work. And the number one complaint I have of the show, you can tell how bored people are. You can tell. You can tell how bored they are and how they have nothing to do. The Circle is the show that shows just how bored everybody is all the time. And it is hilarious how bored they get on The Circle. It's not as hilarious on Love Island. You got a lot of people. I think there's a lot more they can do than just play table tennis and sit in the sun and talk. I understand too that the show is built on this idea of conversations and building relationships. Do you know what builds relationships? Having a basketball court. Having things there that they can do together, and just stuff they can do that occupies their time, so they're not so bored all the time, because it definitely shows on TV. So those would be my recommendations. But anyways, there you go. My latest Love Island video. Well aware that people don't necessarily watch the Love Island videos, but I thought, I want to talk about it. It's a week before it's over, and it'll be nice that it'll be done before I go on vacation. It normally runs through August, and sometimes when it runs that late in the summer, I lose interest before it's done. One thing I'll say for this season too, I think the fact that we didn't have as many couples that were really really solid early on, and there was some switching out and some drama there, I think has increased interest in the show this year and made this season more memorable than previous seasons. But let me know your thoughts. Yep, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you've not done so already. And yeah, so in a week, I think Kendall and Nicole win the money. Let me know which couple you think are going to win the money if you're watching the show. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.